What's up, guys? It's been a very long time, and I just wanted to come on here and yap about like 6 projects that I've watched and haven't reviewed. There's so many projects at this point that I've watched and that I just need to like yap about and just just let people know what I think, because it's always good to have an outlet to talk about things. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is a movie that came out about 4 weeks ago called One Battle After Another, made by a little director that you might know of now called Thomas Anderson, because One Battle After Another, I think it's his highest grossing movie to date. And it cost 150 million and it's made over 200 million, which I think in this current landscape is really good. I know a lot of people have a very warped view of how box office should be, but like, let's call it like it is. Movies like Fantastic Four and Superman, movies that 6 years ago we thought, hey man, these movies come out and have the scores that they have would make 7 to 8 easily, and they barely can make over, like, I don't even know if Fantastic made over 6. I know Superman did, but like, box office, things aren't doing good right now. People in general just don't have the money. Most people don't go to enough movies to even get the monthly subscription where you can get to watch movies for 50 cents like I do. I got Regal Unlimited. It costs me 50 cents to watch a movie. I watch about 8 to 10 movies in a month. That usually could cost you 120 bucks. It costs me 13, 14 bucks, you know? Because I watch that many movies, but most people don't. And the reason I bring up box office is because people keep saying, don't talk about box office, don't talk about box office. I'm of the mindset, hey, this movie made a lot of money, like $200 million for a movie like this. And like, this came out 2 weeks, like this movie came out a week or two after that thing, and everyone knows what thing I'm talking about, that had everyone on both sides talking about. So like, for this to make 200 million after that, in the climate that we are in right now, it's very impressive. But at the same time, we can't keep saying box office doesn't matter when we can say that. I feel like something that Hollywood's already been cut by is that, yeah, you can keep saying box office doesn't matter, and I can keep wanting movies like One Battle After Another to be made, but after a while, you got to ask yourself, do the audience feel like they are voting with their wallets and people still aren't listening to them, so they're not going to come regardless of what we do? And I feel like Hollywood's already past that point. I feel like people already voted with their wallets, and there's nothing they can do. They just got to keep making good movies the way they're making them. Keep hoping, like, because that's another thing about Hollywood. It's like, people think they know, but no one really knows until something happens. No one knew people wanted Star Wars. No one knew people wanted Avatar. No one knew people wanted Harry Potter until these things came and they were out. You know what I mean? So let's talk about One Battle After Another. Man, this movie's 3 hours, like 3 hour-ish hours, and it doesn't feel it. Like, man, this movie's beautifully paced. It flies by. I've only seen it one time. I can't find the time to see it again in the theater while also trying to keep up with releases that keep happening, because I've already missed a couple that you're gonna see. I've already missed a couple. And man, the biggest the biggest star out of this movie for me is Chase Infinity. Like, she has like a movie star look. And I know the only other thing she's been in is a show that I wanted to watch that was on Apple TV with Jake Gyllenhaal, called Presumed Innocent. Now, I know she's in that, and I'm probably gonna watch that one day because she's in that, because Jake's in that. But that's the only other thing of note she's been in, and she just has this movie star look about her, and the way that she would like when she's in the room, you could tell. Like, when she's in the scene, you can tell. And most, like, even people that are 10 to 12 movies deep don't have that type of presence about them. You know what I mean? So for her to have that type of presence was very impressive. Leonardo was good, even though I know people said he didn't do much. I feel like he did I feel like he played the role of Bob really well. Sean Penn's probably the biggest person you're going to see being talked about. He's a great actor that I think people forget is a really great actor, you know, because he hasn't been in that many big roles over the last decade. He hasn't been in that many great big roles, but he's a great actor, one of the best we got. And I feel like a role like this lets people know that. And Tiana Taylor, I didn't get to watch 1001. I remember when that movie was out, and I remember I was checking them scores, and I remember I was like, man, I don't have the time to see this. But I heard really great things about her in that movie, and I still haven't seen that movie. But like, things I know about Tiana Taylor aren't from her her like movie accomplishments, and I'm a little ashamed to say that. Like, I know more about the fucking gossip parts of her life than what her actual body of work. Regina Hall is always amazing. Ed Ed Harris, not Ed Harris. Is it? I always get Ed Harris and Ed Wood mixed up, but I think it's Ed Harris. Most people know him from the But if you black, you know who Ed Harris is, man. You know who Ed Harris is. That brother's a fucking. Sometimes we feel like he's one of the best actors we got, but that really doesn't get recognition. But he's a great actor. And man, yeah, that's like, and Alina Hampton here too. She was in Paul Thomas Anderson's last movie, Licorice Pizza. But like I said, this movie is like beautifully paced. Everyone does a great job. I know I'm really just rambling because it's been a couple weeks since I've seen it, and I kind of can still remember a lot of the scenes. But man, I just feel like this movie says a lot of controversial things that you can really have a good conversation about, and you can like, do I think the French 75 did everything right? No. Would I have done things like that? No. And something that I think was also played pretty blurred was what time, like, I think this took place in the early 2000s, and then we get to like 2024 when we catch up. So movies that are shot like with the older cars always look like, even at like that bank robbery scene with the older cars, those always look cool. And when Bob had to go get help from the sensei, and they were going through their own, like, this is how they rebel, but it's in a different way than the French 75. Like, I like that parallel, you know. Like, I feel like it critiques some of the revolutionaries, and then also other ways you can be a revolutionary that are more, I don't want to say palatable, but more safe, that are more, but they're just as brazen and rebellious, even though they aren't openly explosive like they were in the beginning. You know what I mean? And yeah, like I said, I just came on here to ramble about the movie just so I can have my thoughts out about it. You know, I really thought it was a great movie. And another thing I want to know is something I said in a couple weeks ago. I don't know what review I said it in, but I said, man, they're gonna keep calling Sinners and Weapons horror movies before anything else, because in their mind, one battle after another is gonna clean up. I don't know what awards is gonna clean up, but it's gonna clean up. That's the movie. You can really tell we're 10 months, we're about to be in our 11th month, and those are the 3 best movies I can think of so far. Other than those 3 movies together with Alison Brie and Dave Franco, only other like really beloved movie I can think of out right now. You know? So one battle with another is the movie that you can clearly see it's going to be the movie that's going to run through everything. So that's why I kept telling you guys, like, Sinners is going to get that nod for Best Picture. And it's going to get a nod for a lot of other things, but is it actually going to get wins? Probably not. So, one battle with another, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Peace.